Good morning, ladies and gents. Mark from the Institute of Vehicle Recovery. You find me still working from home, and we still found that the best place to do this was our workshop. A short film, just picking up on where we left off last time, and we're going to introduce three main scenarios that we would find ourselves in our workplace. We're going to talk today about maybe collecting a customer's car from their home or driveway. We're then going to look at that customer potentially being broken down on a road in a relatively safe position, and we're also going to introduce a customer on a motorcycle, and we're going to talk a little bit about the need for the extra PPE that we spoke about on the last film, and also some of the communication that you will need to do prior to arriving at the scene with the customer. It's important to remember that we're not going to get this right every single time, and it's very easy to point out people's mistakes over social media or wherever it might be. And I would encourage you, maybe do something a little bit proactive and give some advice, give some guidance, and we're all in this together, guys, and we need to start to look to help one another. So let me talk you through scene one. The customer is at home, their car needs to be taken to a local garage or retailer, and they've phoned that into their motoring organisation, and you are driving to that scene. 5 minutes potentially from arriving at that scene, we feel it would be prudent to give the customer a phone call, and you will need to talk them through what it is that you're going to do, because this is going to be slightly different.
Hello.
Yeah, hi Mr. Morris. It's Mark Hartel from Recovery Safe. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm on my way actually. I'm about 5 minutes away. Firstly, you might want to explain a little bit of the PPE that you might be wearing, potentially a face mask, gloves and goggles. It would be prudent to ask the customer to go and place the keys in the ignition.
When you arrive, I'll keep a lookout and I'll come out with the keys.
If you could just pop outside for me now, please, and put the keys in ignition, that would be great. And then when I do pull up, if you could just stand on your doorway or in a window, that way we'll be able to maintain social distance.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know it's all this social distancing, isn't it? I'm forgetting about all this.
Yeah, excellent, thank you. I'm also going to wipe your car down when I arrive with some wipes, just to protect me, and I will be wearing a face mask.
Okay then, yeah, no worries.
When you arrive on scene, you want to advise him that yes, come and stand in the doorway or maybe at a window, but to maintain the 2 meters social distancing. Wipe the customer's car down around the door handles, potentially the handbrake, gear lever, steering wheel and keys. At that point, you might leave the keys in the ignition, or if you decide you're going to take those keys out, you may want to pop them into a Ziploc or sealable plastic bag. By following this simple protocol and explaining the situation to the customer, you will be reassuring them. This is a strange world that we live in now, and there are some fears that we will need to combat, and your professionalism will help in this. So at 5 minutes away from the scene, you're going to call the customer and you're going to explain to them a similar protocol as how we've explained it in scene one, referencing the gloves and possibly wiping down the vehicle and wearing a face mask. But the difference will be that the customer will be on scene. You will need to ask them whether they can stand away from their vehicle but maintain their safety. If they cannot do this, then they may have to remain in their vehicle, and you will now have to explain to them what it is that you would want them to do to aid you loading that vehicle. So they must remain in their vehicle. You may have to explain to them about releasing the handbrake, selecting a neutral gear and steering the vehicle as it goes onto the back of your recovery truck. And all of this needs to be done as best as you can, maintaining 2 meters social distancing and wearing the correct PPE. Guys, I just want to pick up on the fact that we're really pleased that there's some interaction on the film that we've already made. We encourage that, and we would ask you to make any comment that you feel will contribute to what we're trying to achieve here. Jake Wilson brought up a question about the face mask and whether it is HSE compliant. And the point being is that face masks at this moment in time are there for the protection of your customer. So by you putting a face mask over your face, it's stopping you breathing on them. They are not designed to stop germs coming back at you. So the recommendation is a face covering. They don't actually come up with any kind of standard. So the same could be achieved with a buff or neckerchief, and it's about covering your face. It also adds to the fact that you are considering your customer, and it goes along the lines of the professionalism that we are trying to portray. It is your employer's responsibility to provide items classed as PPE free of charge to you, but it is also your responsibility to make sure that you are acting and conducting in a way that is aiding your employer and is also protecting the general motoring public. So scene 3, guys, again is going to be similar to the other 2 scenes. We're going to put the motorcycle at the side of the road. Yeah, hello Mr. Hobbs, it's Mark from Recovery Safe. I'm coming out to your motorcycle. How are you doing? Yeah, good. Good, excellent. If you could just stay out of the way whilst I arrive on scene, just to kind of get the 2 metre distance in, and then you'll notice I'm going to wipe your bike down. We're just going to use some wipes and wipe your bike down. And then what I might do is I need you to help me load. So if you could pop your helmet back on and your gloves, I will be wearing a mask and gloves as well. And that way then if we can't maintain the social distancing, you can help me load. That's excellent. Thank you very much, sir. See you shortly. Bye-bye. So it's imperative that you call this guy and you explain that you are going to have to wipe down his handlebars, wipe potentially down the seat, any areas where that guy has been touching it. It may also be that he is required to help you or assist you load that bike into a motorcycle frame or carrier, and that social distancing then may be difficult to maintain. The government guidance says where it is impractical or impossible, that minimal contact must be there. Do it for the least amount of time and consider wearing the correct PPE. We'd just like to bring up the point that at no time during making this film have we mentioned what we would do with the customer whilst transporting their vehicle. This will be brought up in a film that is due to come out shortly, and we're going to dedicate a whole film based around the transportation of the customer with their vehicle. Remember that we're making these videos for you, and if you feel that there is something that you would like us to show you or talk about, then please let us know. Make a comment on the film. If you don't want to miss any of the videos in the future, make sure that you subscribe.